I think we should jump a little bit because we just said exercise is important. And if I go through these 3 different ways really quick, this is the optimal exercise program for testosterone optimization in particular. And the number 1 category, probably most people are not going to be happy to hear this, but it's movement. And emerging research is showing that just moving more in everyday life is in many ways more important to your long-term health, longevity, health span than adhering to a devoted fitness regimen. There's a concept called the active couch potato syndrome, which is people who are fit and stick to a workout plan and they go to the gym every day, but they have similar biological disease risk factors as sedentary people because they ride the subway for an hour, they sit at a desk, they go home and sit on a couch for leisure time. And so that hour a day, 168 hours in a week, right? Any medical resident will know how many hours in a week because you're working most of them, right? If there's 168 hours in a week and you're only exercising and moving for 7 and then doing not much otherwise, you're an active couch potato, it's called. And so the human has a critical obligation to move throughout the day. The guys are going down and studying the Hadza in Tanzania, one of the last remaining hunter-gatherer primitive living populations on Earth. There's a book by Dr. Herman Poncer called Burn with a lot of Hadza research. But these people are moving almost all the time. So humans have been moving throughout the day for 2.5 million years until we got our first screen. Right. And if you're not getting up after 20 minutes, you're messing with your metabolism. And it doesn't have to be crazy workout, burn calories, and sweat. It's just a life of increased general everyday movement. That's a big challenge, like you talked about with early on. Like, why don't I just take a needle and get some more testosterone? Because now I got to get up all the time to move around. But here's like the counter argument is if you can nail some of these pretty simple objectives, you're going to have more cognitive power. You're going to have more focus, discipline, resilience against distraction. You're going to be a more productive person anyway when you put more time into sleep, movement breaks, things of that nature. And so to hit this movement objective really quick, my favorite thing to do is a morning exercise routine. And I have this whole thing on my website. I have an online course, but it's changed my life in the last 6 years because now when I wake up every day, I hit the deck immediately and start doing my leg exercises, you can see. And I'm a lifelong athlete. Fitness has not been a problem for me, but this is a different category where now I know how I start my day every day. And it's true, it went from a little thing to now pretty long and impressive, sort of a workout looking thing, but it started out really small. And it was just because when I reach for the device instead, then I get distracted. I don't have my prioritization. I don't have my big picture thinking. So now I do something, you could compare it to a form of meditation because I'm hitting the deck and I'm counting to 40 with the leg swings this way, 40 that way, 20 scissors, 20 back. And so my mind is just going into something that's focused, it's self-disciplined, and then arguably it rolls into everything else I do in daily life. Maybe not necessarily. I'm still working on my email inbox distracting me from writing my book, but I start my day in a wonderful manner, and it sets me up for an active day because I am teaching my brain and my body to be active as soon as I wake up. Guess what else it does better than coffee or any other stimulant is I feel alert and energized when I'm done. And I don't always feel that way when I start. I promise you, a lot of times I feel like crap. But when you start, you hit the mat and start moving your legs, you're going to feel better. So that's number 1 is a morning routine. Number 2, Marxism calls it JFW. You know what that stands for? Just frickin' walk.
Oh, yeah, that has.
We have to find ways to actually walk, which is the quintessential form of human locomotion of the animal to move through space. And we hardly even walk anymore. There's research from different countries. Australia is really good, and Switzerland, and we're pretty pathetic, but we walk like 1.7 miles a week.
We think the highest amount of walking is in Japan. But
Japan,
yeah.
Oh, and as far as the states rank, this is a funny one. New York is one of the highest ranking states for fitness. And they're like, why is that? You know, I got all these people in the big city and, it's because so much of the population lives in New York City. And New Yorkers in the city walk an extreme amount. On average, they're walking miles every day. Almost every person there.
They have to get to the subway.
They have to get everywhere.
Okay.
It's not like California where I have to drive. Mark Sisson talks about in Malibu, he never walked anywhere because you got PCH. You're not walking anywhere, you're driving. And in Miami, he walks 5 miles a day because you walk in South Beach and everything's within walking distance. So we have to manufacture opportunities to walk unless we live in New York City. So we have JFW, we have the morning exercise routine. We have a thing called micro workouts, which I believe is like the biggest breakthrough in the fitness industry in decades. And it's taking this concept of what a workout means and demystifying it and making it less complex to actually realize that a 1-minute effort at your desk during the workday counts as a really awesome contribution to your fitness. So if you just stand up and drop for a set of 20 squats, down on your chair, back up, down on your chair, back up. If you're fitter, you can do other things. I have like a staircase in my home, and the staircase to me means sprint up the staircase. So whenever I go up that staircase all day long, it's a sprint. And that's on my list. I also have a pull-up bar. I have the cords hanging down. And so maybe once a day, I'll do 1 set of pull-ups. Takes 30 seconds to do 10 or 12 or whatever. Now let's talk 3 years from now when this is part of my life several days a week and I'm doing 12 pull-ups in 1 set. It's not part of the workout. Maybe at the gym, I'm going to do this many sets of this and this many sets of that. That's fine. If you're interested in that and you have time and energy, that's great. But just sprinkling in opportunities to get a fitness experience, ideally something explosive that gets you a little out of breath and is challenging to your muscles. These are micro workouts, and these are within reach of everybody. So if it's not sprinting up the stairs, grab the railing as a senior citizen and hustle up the stairs. There you go. Make that part of your day. And it adds up over time to be a tremendous fitness benefit. And for fitness people who are already going to the gym and doing this stuff, and Katie Bowman says we get a hall pass, and it's like the lazy athlete mentality, she calls it. So like, I did my 6 a.m. spin class. So I'm sitting here on this couch for the whole Saturday. I'm going to watch the Super Bowl, and I'm going to watch the commercials, and I can eat chips and avocado because I did my 6 a.m. workout. So take that lazy athlete mentality hall pass and think, gee, I can improve my fitness tremendously and launch all my workouts from a higher platform if I just sprinkle in some micro workouts here and there. And
so they've done research on these micro workouts.
Yeah, because the CDC or the resource, the American Council on Healthy Living, whatever it's called, they have always said this recommendation to get it was like a 60-minute workout 3 times a week or something like that. It's been for decades. It's part of the fit food pyramid, and then get vigorous exercise 3 or 4 times a week for 60 minutes, which is a ridiculous ask because people, are you kidding me? That's like high fitness category. If you're going and banging 60 minutes 3 or 4 times a week, that's not the average person's life experience. There's just, it's kind of like intimidating. Same with 10,000 steps a day, which is a Japanese company like in the 70s made this up to sell pedometers. And they said, you should get 10,000 steps a day. There's no research. There's no rhyme or reason to it.
It's funny.
Yeah. And we've all heard this now. But you know how many 10,000 steps? It's like walking 5 miles. So I'm going to say how about 1,000 steps a day as a great starting goal? And if you like to count them, that's great. Or just find ways to walk more instead of drive, and go out of your way to integrate these experiences. Kelly Starrett, the author of many books like Becoming a Supple Leopard, and one of the leading fitness and mobility rehab CrossFit experts, he had little elementary school kids, and he says, yeah, you know what we do? We park a mile. We live 5 miles from the school. I'm on the freeway and get off the exit. A lot of people, I can't walk my kids to school anymore. They park a mile away, walk it in. They don't get into the Congo line with the drop-off, which takes 12 minutes in the stupid lineup because the traffic jam at the elementary school. It's like, walk your damn kid the last mile. You'll get there before the people on the line.
So I'm wondering, let's say someone does 60 minutes in one lump sum. Another person does 10 segments, and each one is only 6 minutes.
Yeah, they would have. I read some things on that too. It's kind of interesting, like Deepak Chopra says with meditation, it's better to do an hour a day than 4 hours on faith. And this is like my personal opinion, is people kind of get too caught up in which one's better, and they're both awesome. And so I'd rather answer that way, even if some fitness expert is going to say, well, 10 6-minute bursts of thing is not going to get you fit. Bullshit. If you sprint up the stairs from now until 3 years later, you're going to be doing great. So if you do a bunch of 1-minute workouts and that's all you got right now because your this is what it is, it's going to be a huge improvement from the zero. Now, there is really good research showing, Peter T has mentioned this recently, that if you go from like zero, inactive, to moderately active, you can imagine a curve, your health of your fitness and your health skyrocket. Then we start looking at, the bell curve where, Joy, you're talking to me, you're concerned that maybe you're doing too many of the hard Zumba classes and you should switch one out for stretching yoga. These kind of things are like, what's my optimal? You're way up here on the bell curve somewhere. We don't know where, but you're up here. But to get from here to there, it's so easy. And it takes so little time. So we have those movement objectives. And then when it comes to, the other categories quickly, like resistance training, sprinting, and these are things that will have huge health, fitness, longevity benefits. And they really are within reach of anybody. My mom's 86 years old. She pedals a bicycle hard in the morning. And I'll go in there and say, why don't you go fast for 30 seconds and then rest and then fast for 30 seconds? Do something that's challenging. I see a lot of people in the gym going down the stair, climbing and watching TV. It's much, much better to throw in something hard once in a while because we want to challenge those muscles, the brain, the heart and lungs to push beyond our normal baseline level and even our normal baseline workout level. So a lot of people exercise too hard and a lot of the classes are too hard, but we do have this critical objective to do brief, explosive efforts to the body, and that will stimulate testosterone production like nothing else. I mean, a sprint workout is one of the biggest, direct association with skyrocketing testosterone.
Do you do a lot of sprinting?
Yeah.
I've seen your posts. So maybe that was really contributing to your...
One time I got the blood test right after the sprint workout, and that was my highest one. So I think I gaved it, to be honest. That was when I got that 1,008. The most recent one was 806. And so I'm in that, this is a good point to bring up. So I test myself obsessively. As you can tell, I've had like 25 tests in the last 5 years. They know me in the lab by name. I'll put it that way. It's great. You can go online and for, a few bucks, you can get a test. And I go to Merrick Health and they do a one-on-one consultation to look at my results and suggest supplements. We can talk about that a little bit, but I love putting that stuff at the bottom before we talk about supplements and the Fedosian and the long fenugreek and the long jack and the tribulus. Get your sleep, okay?
Right.
But yeah, that was funny because right after the sprint workout, I had a favorable result. But over time, my range has been like 563 to 1,008. So it's usually 750, 800, 720, 698, whatever. But that's quite a range. That's double. And 560 is not bad for a 58-year-old, or I'd say it's probably in the good category or whatever. And when you're down in the 200s, 300s, that's when you're a candidate for hormone replacement. But it's very sensitive to lifestyle behaviors. So I contend that those lower results that I had was a cycle of training because I'd pushed myself pretty hard and I tend to overdo it sometimes. And that's probably will give you a dip in testosterone. Same with any other lifestyle factors sprinkling in there. Like one of my most unhealthy periods in recent years was doing the ketogenic diet, still sprinting like a crazy, and doing a lot of fasting as well as a ketogenic diet, and going through a divorce and finding a new place to live and getting a new fresh start and dealing with this and dealing with that. And so I was, tired and I wasn't recovering from workouts well. And just as an offshoot or an aside, the ketogenic diet, I've written books about it. It's wonderful with all kinds of health benefits and, healing and repair and hormonal benefits. But for me at that time, it went on the scoreboard as a stressor because of all the other stressors. And so we have to look at things like restrictive extreme diets or heavy duty exercise programs as stressors requiring a proper and healthy balance of sleep, rest, recovery, downtime. How many things can you count on a hand? I can probably do one hand on the things that I do to restore and rejuvenate and rebuild energy. I take naps, I go to sleep, I'm trying to meditate here and there a little bit. Eating a healthy meal, I guess, could count, and having healthy entertainment and social whatever. Over here, fasting is a stressor, cold plunge is a stressor, sauna is a stressor. Your workouts are a stressor. Your work day, when I flip open the screen, flip open the map,